Okay, so we are going to get ready for the next step of our project. Once you have different shapes glued down in at least 2 layers, meaning you have a background piece, a larger shape, and then small shapes on top of that, we are going to use the tin foil now to sort of cover the whole castle and rub down the pieces around each shape so that we can see or feel them with our hands. And get it ready for our printing process. You do not have to tape the foil on the back, but it will help keep it in place with our multiple attempts at printmaking. So you're going to go ahead and just rub with your fingers. You can see the shape sort of starting to appear. Be very careful. You definitely don't want to rip the tin foil because there is water involved in this process, and if your paper or your shapes get wet, you will see that they fall apart. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're done smoothing all of the tin foil around the shapes, between the shapes, before you do this next step. This next step is we want to use washable markers, and you're actually going to go on top of each shape and add the color of your markers. You don't want to drag your hand across them because you will end up smearing the colors. So go ahead and color with washable markers on your shapes of your castle. Okay, so this next step does involve water, and you're going to want to be careful not to get this wet until we're ready. So go ahead and put that somewhere safely to the side. And you're going to take a piece of white paper. If you have a paintbrush, you can use a paintbrush. Otherwise, you can just use your finger. The goal is to just get like an even coating of water on our paper. I'm going to switch over to a paintbrush to save myself some time. So you don't want to get your paper so wet that it rips, but you do want it to get a little bit wet, especially if you don't have a spray bottle, which does make it a little bit easier if you have a spray bottle, but I do not have a spray bottle, so I'm going to use my brush. Remember, you can also use your fingers for this step as well, just to make sure that it's, move your paper out of the way, put your castle down. This is actually the best way to do it for all of us. And you're gonna take your wet paper, lay it on top of your castle, and then you're gonna press and gently rub. So you should see some of the color start to come through. Now we'll only be able to do this once, and then you're gonna have to color it again. So really take your time to rub all of these different spots. You can see some of the color starting to come through, and then once you've got all the corners, you're gonna pull it off, and voila! You have what's called a mono print, or one print of our shape castle. And you can see my shape castle's colors are completely gone because they have transferred to my paper. So you can actually go ahead and let this dry, or use a paper towel to wipe it off. You can actually see a couple of areas like this purple. There's some pink here where I didn't rub all the way down in those spots, and so it did not transfer. That's where you see white spots on my print. So you can actually keep doing this as many times as you want until you get a print that you like. Your paper will be very delicate, so be careful when you pick it up. You want to make sure that you are not tearing your beautiful monoprint. And we're going to keep these for next week because we're going to add something to them as well.